Rain falls, but not all of it reaches the ground. Some of it stops midair, rippling across something invisible. Batman watches from the shadows, completely still, as his lenses struggle to process what his eyes can't see. Because this isn't just a hidden place, it's a nation that has erased itself from the world. And somewhere inside that invisible kingdom stands Black Panther, a king who doesn't just rule with power, but with technology and instinct far beyond anything Gotham has ever produced. This isn't a random encounter. This is calculated, planned, a test of two minds that never lose twice the same way. But here's the problem. One of them is defending home ground, and the other is walking into a trap he can't fully understand. So what happens when preparation meets perfection? The first mistake will be rushing. Batman doesn't make that mistake. He stays still at the edge of the jungle, watching something most people would walk straight past. The rain gives it away. It hits the air and stops. Not splashing, not dripping, just bending around an invisible surface like reality itself is being redirected. This isn't camouflage. This is control. Wakanda isn't hiding behind trees. It's hiding behind physics. Light bends, sound curves, even heat signatures slide across the surface and continue forward like nothing is there. To satellites, this is just empty land. To anyone else, it's nothing at all. But nothing always leaves a trace. Batman adjusts his lenses, shifting through infrared, ultraviolet, and then something more experimental, something unstable. For a long time, there's no result. Just trees, rain, silence. Then finally a flicker, a thin distortion line, barely visible, stretching in a perfect straight path through the jungle. A seam, not a crack, not damage, just a place where two perfect systems don't align perfectly enough. He doesn't move, not yet. Instead, he watches, counts, measures, because a system this advanced doesn't stay static. It pulses, refresh cycles, micro adjustments happening faster than human perception, but not faster than his. 30 seconds, nothing. 1 minute, still nothing. Then it happens. For less than a second, the distortion widens. That's the opening. Most people would miss it. Anyone else would guess. Batman doesn't guess. He confirms, again and again, timing the pattern until it's no longer a chance. It's a certainty. 11 seconds between cycles. Less than 1 second of vulnerability. That's all he gets. He steps back, slows his breathing, and locks into rhythm. This isn't about speed, it's about precision. 1 second too early, nothing happens. 1 second too late, and the system reacts. And Wakanda doesn't warn intruders. It erases them. The next pulse approaches. 3, 2, 1. He moves. No hesitation. No wasted motion. Just one clean step forward, straight through the seam. For a split second, everything feels wrong. Like passing through water that isn't there. Pressure without resistance. Sound disappears. Light fractures. Then it's gone, and the world changes. The jungle behind him snaps back into place like a closed door. But ahead is something else entirely. The horizon glows. Not faint, not distant. Alive. Wakanda. Massive structures rise above the tree line, blending technology with nature so seamlessly it almost doesn't look real. Energy pulses through the air. The ground itself feels different, controlled, monitored, alive in a way Gotham never is. This isn't just a hidden city. This is a nation that's ready for war, and has been for a long time. Batman doesn't admire it, doesn't react. He lowers himself into the shadows instantly, because getting in was never the hard part. Staying unseen, that's where people fail. The moment he steps deeper in, the air changes. Not just humidity, not just temperature control. Everything here is measured. Batman feels it instantly. The ground isn't just ground. It's a sensor grid. Every step, every shift in weight, every vibration tracked. So he stops walking like a man. His movement slows, becomes deliberate, almost unnatural. He places each step with calculated pressure, distributing weight so lightly it barely registers. At the same time, his suit adjusts, Heat output drops, surface temperature flattening until his body blends with the environment. Not invisible, just irrelevant. A patrol moves across his path. Two warriors, silent, focused. Their armor reflects nothing, absorbs everything. Dora Milaje. Not guards, hunters. They don't talk. They don't hesitate. They scan their surroundings like they expect something to be there, even when there's nothing. Batman doesn't freeze. Freezing is human instinct. Predictable. Instead, he shifts upward. The grapnel fires once, quiet, precise, and pulls him into the canopy above. He locks himself along a branch, body aligned with it, reducing his silhouette to almost zero. From below, there's nothing to see. The patrol slows. One of them tilts her head slightly. Not looking at him, but close. Too close. That's the difference here. Gotham criminals react. These warriors anticipate. Batman controls his breathing. Not slower, shallower. Because even breath can carry vibration. Even a heartbeat can transfer through wood if you're close enough. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. 10. They move on. But that wasn't luck. That was a warning. He drops silently once they're out of range, already adjusting his approach. Ground movement is too risky. Vertical space is safer, but not safe enough. And he sees it, a faint red sweep across the trees ahead. Laser grid, not fixed, moving. Interlocking patterns scanning both ground and air. Designed to catch exactly what he's doing now. He crouches low, watching the rhythm. It's not random. Nothing here is random. The beams overlap, separate, then reconnect in shifting cycles. A perfect net with no obvious gap. Most people would try to find a way through. Batman looks for the flaw. There's always a flaw. He tracks the pattern again and again. Then he notices it. One beam lags by a fraction of a second during each cycle shift. Not enough to see clearly, but enough to matter. A delay. That's all he needs. He pulls a small device from his belt and tosses it lightly to the side. It lands without sound, but activates instantly. A micropulse. Nothing explosive, nothing visible. Just enough interference to slightly desync the grid's timing. The lag widens. Not much, just enough. He moves through it in one smooth motion, body slipping between beams, so close they almost touch the fabric of his suit. One wrong angle, one miscalculation, and the system would light up the entire sector. But it doesn't. He clears it clean. Now the palace is in view. Larger than expected. Not just a building, an ecosystem of security layered over architecture. Towers, corridors, entry points, all designed with overlapping sight lines and kill zones. This isn't about keeping people out. It's about controlling what happens when someone gets in. Batman studies it for a moment, then shifts his focus downward. Because the front door is never the answer. There, near the eastern wall, a vent, small, almost hidden, but more important, cold. No heat signature, no airflow, disconnected, which means it's not being watched, which means it's been forgotten. And in a place like this, forgotten is the closest thing to invisible. The vent is smaller than expected, tight, and used. Exactly what Batman was hoping for. He removes the outer panel without a sound and slips inside, pulling it closed behind him like it was never touched. Darkness takes over instantly. No light, no airflow, no noise. Perfect. He moves forward slowly, not crawling, gliding. Every motion controlled, every contact point softened. Because inside a place like this, even metal can betray you. A single scrape can travel through the structure like a signal flare. The shaft runs deeper than expected, curving slightly downward before leveling out. That's when he notices it. A vibration. Faint, rhythmic, not mechanical, not random. Footsteps. Above him. He stops immediately, pressing himself against the side wall, minimizing contact. The sound passes over him, slow, deliberate, heavy with purpose. Not a patrol, something more focused. Then silence again. Batman keeps moving. The shaft ends at a narrow grate overlooking a corridor. He doesn't open it right away. First, he scans. Thermal sweep. Motion detection. Electromagnetic activity. Clear. Too clear. That's the problem. He waits. 5 seconds. 10. 20. Still nothing. Finally, he shifts the grate slightly and looks down. The corridor is empty. Clean. Still. Designed with smooth walls that reflect almost no light. Minimal decoration. Maximum control. He drops down silently. The moment his boots touch the ground, his suit adjusts again, cooling, flattening, blending him into the background. He moves forward, staying close to the wall, keeping his profile narrow. Then the first system activates. A faint click, almost inaudible. Batman stops mid-step. A thin red line appears across the corridor, stretching wall to wall. Then another, and another. Laser grid, not constant, adaptive. The beams shift height and angle every few seconds, creating a moving barrier that can't be memorized easily. It's designed to force hesitation. Batman doesn't hesitate. He watches, measures, reads the rhythm. There's a pattern, not in position, but in timing. The grid resets every cycle, even if the angles change. That reset creates a micro gap, less than half a second. That's enough. He moves through it in a single fluid motion, ducking, twisting, stepping exactly where the beams aren't. It looks impossible, but it's not. It's calculated. He clears the grid, keeps moving, then voices. Ahead, low, focused. He shifts upward instantly, grapnel firing silently to pull him onto a support beam above the corridor. He locks in place, just as two figures step into view below. Dora Milaje. Closer this time. They walk side by side, scanning as they move. Not just looking forward, checking angles, reflections, shadows. One of them pauses directly beneath him. For a second, everything stops. Her head tilts slightly. Not enough to look up, but enough to feel something. Batman doesn't move, doesn't breathe deeper, doesn't adjust, because even the smallest shift could transfer through the beam. Silence stretches. Then she speaks. One word, low, quiet, a signal. Her partner turns, both of them shifting their focus down the corridor behind them. Batman understands immediately. They didn't detect him. They detected possibility. And that's worse. They move off together, faster now. Alert. The corridor clears again. Batman drops down without sound, but his approach has changed. This place isn't just defended. It's aware. Every system, every guard, every empty hallway. It's all part of the same design. And now, he's deeper than he planned to be. The deeper he goes, the more the palace stops feeling like a building and starts feeling like a machine that knows he's inside it. Batman can sense it in the way the silence behaves. Too structured, too intentional. Every corridor feels like it's waiting for something to happen. Not reacting, waiting. He reaches a junction and pauses. 3 paths, all identical. No markings, no obvious difference. But none of them feel neutral. Each one carries a different kind of weight in the air. That's when he notices this subtle shift above him. Thermal change, not from guards, from systems. The ceiling itself is adjusting temperature in slow waves, mapping movement below. It's not just surveillance, it's confirmation tracking. The building isn't watching for intruders. It's verifying identity through behavior. He changes direction instantly. Vertical route again. Walls are safer than floors here. He fires the grapnel upward and anchors silently into a support beam between architectural layers. From here, the palace reveals its structure differently. Less like rooms, more like stacked systems of control. Then he sees it, a patrol route intersecting directly with his position. Dora Milaje move in synchronized pairs, spacing perfect, timing flawless. But this time there's something different. They're not just scanning forward. They're scanning in overlapping arcs, covering blind angles even above them. They're adapting. That's the problem with intelligent defense systems. Once they detect a breach pattern, they evolve around it. Batman stays completely still. Not frozen, calculated stillness. There's a difference. Frozen means panic. Still means control. One of them stops directly below again. But this time, she doesn't tilt her head. She waits, like she already knows something is there, even if she can't confirm it. A second passes, then another. The tension builds in silence, not sound. Batman doesn't move, doesn't adjust his weight. doesn't even shift his breathing rhythm. Finally, she steps forward. Not away, forward, and the patrol continues. They didn't miss him. They chose not to engage. That realization hits harder than detection would have, because it means the system isn't just reactive, it's predictive. It's deciding when to escalate. He drops silently again and continues forward, but now every step feels like it's being measured by something invisible. The corridor opens into a wider chamber. No guards, no obvious sensors, just a long, empty space leading toward a sealed structure at the far end. But the emptiness is wrong. Too balanced, too symmetrical. He scans it twice before moving. Then he understands. The floor isn't passive. It's segmented. Pressure zones layered beneath polished stone. Some reactive, some dormant, some waiting for activation thresholds. A trap built not to trigger instantly, but to adapt based on movement patterns. He slows again, adjusting his gait to distribute weight unpredictably. Not random, intentional randomness. Breaking pattern recognition. Step, pause, shift. The floor responds in faint micro-adjustments. Testing him, mapping him. He reaches the halfway point when the air changes again. A low vibration rises through the structure. Not alarm, not warning, recognition. Something deeper in the palace has registered his presence at a higher level. He doesn't stop, because stopping now would confirm hesitation. And hesitation is something this system learns from. He reaches the far side of the chamber and stops just short of the sealed structure ahead. No visible handle, no interface, just a seamless barrier that feels less like a door and more like a final decision point. Behind him, the palace is no longer quiet. It is aware, and somewhere deeper inside it, something has already started moving toward him. The sealed door doesn't look like a door at all. It looks like part of the wall that decided to stop pretending it was separate. Smooth, black, and uninterrupted. No seams, no hinges, no access points, just presence. Batman stands in front of it without touching it. Because touching things in a place like this is how systems learn you exist. Behind him, the palace is no longer silent. The shift has already happened. Not alarms, not chaos. Something worse, coordination. He feels it before he hears it. Footsteps aligning across multiple levels. Movement above, below, and behind. Not rushing, not panicked. Controlled convergence. They know he's here. Or more accurately, they've decided it's time he stops being here. Batman turns slightly, scanning the chamber again. The floor patterns, the walls, the air density. Everything now feels layered with intent. This wasn't a room meant to be entered casually. It was a checkpoint, a judgment point, and he passed it, which means what comes next is not security. It's response. A low shift echoes through the structure. Not loud, deep, like something massive inside the palace just changed its state. Then he sees it, subtle movement at the edges of the chamber. Panels that weren't visible before begin to separate from the walls. Not doors opening, weapons deploying. This isn't defense anymore. It's containment. He adjusts instantly, but there's no clean escape route. The chamber has sealed itself without sealing visually. Even the ceiling has shifted slightly, reducing vertical clearance. The space is shrinking in perception, even if it hasn't physically changed much. That alone is enough to pressure the mind. A psychological trap layered over a physical one. Smart. Then a voice cuts through the space. Calm, controlled, not amplified, just carried perfectly through the architecture itself. No echo, no distortion, just clarity. You should not have reached this point. No introduction needed, because the presence already answers the question. Black Panther steps forward from the far end of the chamber, emerging from shadow like it was designed for him. No rush, no aggression, just certainty. The kind of certainty that comes from defending something that has never fallen. Batman doesn't respond immediately. He observes. Suit integrity, movement efficiency, breathing pattern. Not looking for weakness, looking for truth. Chala stops at a distance that isn't accidental. Close enough to strike. Far enough to think. For a moment, neither of them moves. Then Batman shifts his stance slightly. Not offensive, not defensive, adaptive. That small change is enough. The air tightens, because now the fight is no longer theoretical. It's active. Chala moves first, not fast in a way that can be measured easily, fast in a way that removes the need to predict. A single step closes distance that should have taken longer. Batman reacts immediately, but even reaction here feels delayed. Not because he is slow, because the environment is forcing precision under pressure. The first exchange is silent. No dramatic impact sound. Just controlled contact, block, redirect, counterpressure. Every movement is tested, not committed. But the difference is already visible. Chala doesn't waste motion. Every strike is part of a system that returns energy to him. Every defense feeds back into power. Batman understands it within seconds. This isn't about overpowering. It's about efficiency loops. And in that kind of system, mistakes don't just lose fights. They build the opponent. The chamber tightens again slightly. Not physically, strategically. They're being forced into engagement space optimization. Batman realizes it at the same moment Chala does. This room isn't just watching the fight. It's shaping it.